Hello YouTubers, my name's Pat. This is my first YouTube video. Gonna hope to make these videos interesting, to keep you watching, waiting for more. What I'm going to document here is a 1964 Ford F100 update. Got several notes here I want to go through to make sure I cover everything for you. The reason I'm doing this is I want to document my build. I want to have it on YouTube for friends and families to see. I've got several that are out of town that are interested in watching and being a part of this, and this is going to give me the opportunity to let them follow along. I also want to show that this can be done very affordably. My budget for this build is $3,500 to $5 grand, and I want to have a fun vehicle, reliable vehicle, and something in decent shape and that I'll be proud to be seen in. I also want to inspire others. I have several YouTube channels that I subscribe to that have really inspired me to get off the couch, get out here and get started, and try to get this thing accomplished. Some of those channels I follow, and I recommend you follow, regardless of whether you're going to do a build or not. These 5 guys I'm going to mention, I follow a lot more, but these 5 I'm going to mention have really been instrumental in getting me moving in the right direction. First one is East Coast Classics. That's Chris's channel. Great guy, he does a lot of older automobiles. I've actually communicated with him and asked him for some advice and direction, and he's been very helpful, giving me some good advice. Next one is Nathan's Garage. He's out of California. He's done a couple of F100 builds. Currently, late August as I'm filming this, he's working on Fat Betty, which is a early 50s that he's putting onto an Explorer chassis, and it's coming along really great. Then there's River City. That's Matt. He recently did a Ford unibody onto a Crown Vic frame, and he's getting pretty close to having that wrapped up. He did a really good job on that. Great videos there to watch. A lot of detail on his. For you younger guys, the Craig 909. Craig's out of California. He's currently working on a, I want to say it's a 68, 60, maybe a 70 bump side. And he's driving that as he does updates. Another lot of good detail on that one. And then the last one is Turbo Thrust 348. That's Howard. Howard's probably the one that really showed me that this can be done at an affordable price. He documented exactly what he had into the vehicle, and that's what I plan to do on this build also. Howard's doing a 61 Pontiac, and he has around 5,000 into that, and again, it's a great fun car, good looking car, car that he's made a lot of videos of, cruising Woodward Avenue out of Detroit, and just a fun vehicle to see. He's having a lot of fun with that. Next thing I want to talk about is car selection. For me, I like cars from the 30s through the late 70s. There's a lot of models in there I like, so I had a wide range that I could go with. I lean towards Chrysler products, always have. And initially, I was looking at a Dodge D100 pickup, 61 to 71. I lean towards pickups too. I like the idea of pickups because if you get something with a bed that's just wasted, you can look for a whole replacement bed. And I initially was leaning towards the D100, but when I started looking into aftermarket support, there just isn't a lot out there as far as body panels, floor pans. You know, there's a few places, but the market isn't there like it is with the Fords and Chevys. So with that, I decided to start looking at Ford and Chevys. I really like the 57 through 79 Ford pickup trucks and gravitated towards those. The other thing I like with the Ford pickups is that there are a lot of videos and how-tos on doing the Crown Vic conversion which I find very attractive to do. It's going to give me an updated suspension, steering, disc brakes, modern drivetrain, and I think that those are important for a reliable vehicle. I want to be able to drive this thing anywhere and not have to worry about it breaking down. So I started doing my research on this about 1.5 years ago, and I wanted a fairly rust-free vehicle. I wanted, as best as possible, original paint. I didn't want something that had 15 layers of paint on it, and I wanted something that was definitely affordable. When you're looking at a vehicle, you have to consider the cost of what it's going to take to get it to your house. I was looking at a lot of stuff on eBay, and then I would click on the estimate shipping, and it would come up with $600, and I thought, well, geez, that's cheap, you know, coming from California or Arizona. But then when you go to the actual U-Ship site and you start plugging in the numbers, you're looking more at $1,500. And on the particular truck I found, which is coming out of Montana, the cheapest quote I was given for that was $1,300. So you definitely have to consider the cost of getting it to you in your build budget. The other thing I would stay away from is a car without a title. I was looking at a couple vehicles without titles. I didn't think that big of a deal, but this is one of the areas where I was communicating with Chris, East Coast Classics, and he advised staying away from it, that once a vehicle is applied for a replacement title, in many states you have to put up a bonded title. And for Montana, that bonded title is good for 3 years, where the owner can come back at any time and take that vehicle back. Chris is out of Delaware, and for Delaware he told me it's a lifetime. So you could put, you know, $10,000 into a car, and 5 years down the road, the original owner comes back to claim his vehicle and they take it away from you. So for that reason, I would definitely stay away from a car that doesn't have a legit title with it. So for me, I found one in Montana. It's about an hour north of Billings, and I was fortunate that my sister and brother-in-law live in Billings, so my brother-in-law was able to go check out the vehicle for me and do a visual on it, and told me that it does look as good in life as it does in the pictures. So at that point, I had him purchase it on my behalf. Now obviously I've got an empty garage right now, but that's going to change soon. This is late August, and they are taking a trip here in late September, and they will be bringing the vehicle with them. So as far as shipping for my half, they're going to rent a U-Haul trailer, and I'm going to cover the cost of that trailer, and they're going to tow it here for me. So even at that, that's going to be about an $800 fee to rent a trailer one way. So you definitely got to keep that shipping in mind. So let me talk about the build for a minute. My goal with this is to have a reliable vehicle. I am going to do the Crown Vic front suspension swap. I'm going to keep the original frame on the truck. This truck is in really good condition. I'll put up a couple pictures at this point so you can see what the truck looks like, but it is a long bed. It is in very good shape, minimal rust. From what I can see in the photos, it looks like it is original paint, which was one of my goals. I'm going to go with the 4.6 out of the Crown Vic, along with the transmission and probably the differential. I may go with the 9-inch that's in the Ford, or I may go with the Crown Vic. I like the idea of the Crown Vic suspension in the rear end, or the rear end for it, because it does have the disc brakes on it, and everything will already be matched up with the driveline. The other thing to keep in mind with this build is what's your skill level. For me personally, I'm a fair mechanic. I'm not that great. Definitely what I want to do with this build is far beyond my skill set. Fortunately for me, I have a co-worker and a friend. His name's Dan, so you'll hear me reference him quite often. Dan is a 30-year ASE certified mechanic. He's also, from the work I've seen, a pretty darn good body man, paint man. And Dan is going to be my mentor, my advisor. He's going to guide me, assist, who, if I didn't have Dan in my corner, this build would not be happening in the direction I want it to go. I'm not saying this build wouldn't happen, but if I was working on this by myself, I would probably have to stay with a stock suspension, and go with a basic driveline, maybe something a little bit older, a little bit easier to work on. But it would still be a fun, affordable car, and in the end, that's the goal here. So whether you have somebody in your corner that can help you, or if you have the skill set yourself, or if you don't, build it at the level that you can do. Next thing I want to talk about is finding the donor vehicle. I'm in Northwest Indiana, and in my area, driver Crown Vics with about 150,000 miles, they go for around $1,500 to $2,000. That's going to put me close to the top end of my budget, but if that's what it takes, I'm going to do it. Other places you can look for are civil auctions, eBay auctions, other government auctions, junkyards. You just have to see what can you find in your area and what's going to meet what you're looking to do. Other than that, I hope that these videos will be interesting. I hope that you'll follow along and subscribe, and I hope all of you have a great day. Thanks for watching.